I hate pocket doors.
What's going on, guys? My name is Bart Kalmar and welcome back to the DIY Dream Home Renovation Series. In this video, we're gonna be tackling this bathroom. This is the only bathroom that we have on the first floor, and it's also attached to our guest bedroom. So people that come over and stay overnight have to use this, plus the entire family, and when we're downstairs, we're using it as well. So we really wanna concentrate on this bathroom and make it the coolest one in the house. So let's get started. Welcome to the Kalmar Project.
The layout of this bathroom is a little bit weird. It's split into two separate spaces by a pocket door, with one having the vanity and the other the tub and the shower. And I know it's for privacy reasons and functionality, but I absolutely hate pocket doors, and this house had at least a dozen of them. So the first thing that I have to do is rip out that pocket door and open up this space.
I hate pocket doors. Oh, this bathroom's so much bigger all of a sudden. Oh, crap. Oh. Yeah, okay.
So these are all mouse droppings. All this insulation that came out of there. Do I got any turds on me? Huh? Still ugly enough. Let's go.
Because this house has been under construction for the last 6 months, where we touch every square inch of this house, we have not been using this bathroom at all. We pretty much sealed it off. We cut the power, shut the water off, and now everything has to go. I'm taking it back to the studs and changing the entire layout of this bathroom to flow much better. And obviously no pocket doors. This is going to be one space, and if you're showering and are worried about privacy, just lock the door like a normal person. Now, when doing a bathroom renovation, the demo is obviously my favorite part. Most guys are going to tell you that. But this cast iron tub really put up a fight. I had to use a sledgehammer just to break it up because it is so ridiculously heavy, and there's no way that I can get it out of the bathroom by myself without breaking it up. After I got it out of there, I started tearing out the shower surround, and I was not surprised that there was no waterproofing membrane back there. They really didn't exist 40 years ago, which is when this bathroom was done.
Oh, the whole thing, the whole thing. Oh, whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa! I said not the whole thing. Okay, slowly. Use your back. Oh, that's perfect. So we wanted. That was pretty good. It's pretty good.
One of the things that I really wanted to add in this bathroom was a window to bring some natural light in. We did, however, have a big problem with how to structurally and aesthetically do we do this, and what kind of window, because our daughter's room is right above this space, and if we did a small window in this bathroom, it would look weird on the exterior. So Obviously, the sensible thing here would be to tear out the whole front of the house to create an architectural bump out that would act as an accent in the house, but at the same time would line up the bathroom window with the second floor window, and everything would look symmetrical. Now, that was quite the undertaking, but luckily I had a great framing crew that was helping me out, and we can knock this out just in a couple of days, and I can get back to framing the interior of the shower. And now this is what our new bathroom layout looks like. We now have one door that leads into the bathroom. I ended up moving the shower to the left side of the space, a great big window with a ledge for some sort of countertop, and I ended up keeping the vanity in its original location because there was no sense in moving it anywhere else. Plus, that was the only spot for it. So now with everything laid out, I can finally start working on plumbing in the lines for all the shower fixtures. In this shower, we're going to have two shower heads, a regular one and a handheld for whenever we need to give the puppies a bath, and both of those are going to be controlled by the Kohler Anthem manual thermostatic valve. We have the digital version of it in our master shower and love how consistent it keeps the water temperature and pressure flow. And we figured that we want that same option without having to install the computer module on the back side of the shower, and the manual version was perfect option. Next, I need to insulate the space really well because it's on an exterior wall and nobody wants a cold bathroom while they're showering. So I ended up spraying the bump out and the exterior wall with DAP's Touch and Foam kit to seal up any air penetrations and fill all of our cavities with R21 batt insulation. And now we are ready to see what the space is going to feel like with some drywall. And I opted to go with green drywall in here, and not because it's mold resistant, because it's not. It just slows the growth of mold if by any chance it gets past the wax treated paper face. So it helps, but it doesn't prevent it completely, and you still want to ventilate every bathroom. Now we can start working on the shower by installing the drain base. We first cut a hole to match the Kohler drain base, glued that into our P-truss below, and secured it in place with the provided screws. And because I don't have a whole lot of experience with pitching a concrete base, I brought in a contractor to handle that for me. They initially put the liner directly onto the subfloor, which I made them pull up to create a slight pitch that liner can sit on. I've had a few showers in the past that have failed because some water somehow ended up penetrating onto that flat liner and it's got nowhere to go. So it just sits there creating all sorts of havoc. So I wanted to pitch it first with a concrete base, and then we can sit the liner on top of it and then create a dry pack on top. And a dry pack is nothing more than a hand-packed cement base used to form the sloped floor of a shower so that water drains properly into the drain. It's a very old school way of doing things, but in custom shower sizes, in my opinion, this is still one of the best when it's done right. After that shower pan was done and everything was waterproof with our liquid membrane, and again, if you want to see that video, it's linked down below, we can start installing the underlayment for the tile outside of the shower. And my mother-in-law was nice enough to handle all that for me. She did all the 1/4-inch hardy underlayment installation throughout the entire house. Wherever we had tile, she knocked it out. So huge thanks to Grandma for being such a rock star and lending a hand. I can't tell you how appreciative I am of all the help that I got during this entire renovation. Okay, with all the rough construction stuff out of the way, it's done. We can start making this bathroom pretty. And I'm a huge believer in laying out your tile on the floor, on the wall, wherever it may be. Lay it all out before mixing any mortar, and especially when doing mosaic tile. And it lets you prep everything for the installation so there's no surprises. I even go as far as labeling each sheet where it goes so I don't place it in the wrong spot. And that can really help when you're trying to match a pattern. Not so much in this case because we have really consistent hexagon tile that we ended up getting from Studio 41, but it's a really good habit to have. With everything ready, I can set up my laser so that I have a reference point while I'm installing the first row, and I can just start dropping the sheets down. I'm using a 1/4-inch V-notch trowel for the mortar because typically mosaic tiles are going to be much thinner than your regular tile, and you don't need that much mortar underneath it. Plus, keeping those grout lines clean can be a real pain in the butt if you have a really big, thick mortar base. Before we get into grouting this sexy penny hexagon, let's take a minute to thank the sponsor of this video, Studio 41. Studio 41 is where we got just about everything for this house renovation.
Sink, disposal, sink. I don't even know what this is, but
everything we needed to complete this renovation. Before we started everything, Honey and I would go from store to store trying to figure out what would look good in the kitchen and the kids' bathrooms, the laundry room. And let me just tell you, that entire process was so stressful. We just didn't know what we really wanted. And trying to figure out what fixtures at one store would look like with cabinets from another one was painful. So when we finally discovered Studio 41 and started working with one of their designers, everything changed. We were able to see every tile compared to the fixtures we wanted to install side by side, and that helped to narrow the field and made the decision process so much easier. So if you're planning on doing a renovation, whether you're doing it yourself or you're hiring someone, go check out Studio 41 at one of their showrooms, or you can do everything virtually and get samples sent to your house. Thank you to Studio 41 for supporting our projects. All the links to their website and the fixtures that we used in this video are in the description below. Now let's finish up the grouting.
all right, guys, so while that grout sets up a little bit, I'm gonna show you guys something against my better judgment. I really don't want to show you guys this, but I figured I'm going to, because sometimes a mistake can turn into a design feature, right? So I don't know if the camera picks this up, but this wall here is offset from this wall here by 3/4 of an inch. So that line kind of shoots at an angle, and that's, exaggerated. So once we set our door in place, then you're really gonna see that transition line there is gonna be so noticeable, and you can see it. That door should be right here. So luckily for us, we ended up picking a hexagon tile for the floor, which means that we can transition the hardwood floors from the living room into this bathroom, and it will kind of hide that mistake because it will all blend together. It'll kind of snake its way in there, and it's gonna snake my way out of a mistake.
Now that the base of the shower is cleaned, I need to install the curb stone so that I can drop the wall tile on top of it for proper water drainage. My granite supplier was nice enough to pre-cut everything for me, so all I have to do is just drop it into place. The only problem that I have is the epoxy for the miters that they gave me sets up in 30 seconds. So moving quickly and having everything planned out and tested is a must. I actually set up all of my spacers ahead of time and made sure that I had that 1-degree slope inside before I did anything else. And if you want to know what real stress is, try having one shot in 30 seconds to install a custom piece you waited a month for. Yeah, that was a bit much, but in the end, it turned out perfect and I can move on to the walls.
All right, guys, this is going to be a little bit different than basically every bathroom renovation that I've ever done in my life. 100% of the time, I put tiles like this, horizontal, right? But this time, we have to, this tile that's going to be going vertical. Dang, it won't fit through the tile saw. It's gonna be tricky. So this is 12 by 48. It's actually 11 and a half by 46, 15.333. So now if we were to put tile up at the top, we have a slither. We're pretty much gonna be cutting every single piece. We're gonna offset the grout lines a little bit. It's gonna look awesome. I just don't know how it's going to go with the installation. So I guess we'll find out, won't we? That's better.
After setting up my cut station with a side support so I'm not trying to balance these long tiles to cut them, I started cutting all the sizes that I needed. And there were 3 different ones, which was really nice, so I can batch a whole lot of cuts out at once. And then when I had enough of them, I can start laying them out on the wall. And yes, you can see behind me that they are just taped with some painter's tape. There's no mortar behind them. Those spacers that I use do a lot of the work for me by locking all that tile together, and all you need is just some tape to prep the entire wall. And this was especially helpful because this hammer tile was giving me some problems when it came to drilling the holes for the fixtures. My drill bit kept wanting to slip from my center mark, and every time that I tried this, it just wouldn't work for me. So I did something I've never done before, and that's to use my chisel to knock off the ridges off of that tile. And after cracking 3 tiles, it actually worked. I was able to get my drill bit centered, and I was able to drill out the 1.5 inch holes with a hole saw. Once I'm happy with the fit, I can start installing the tile onto the wall. And this time I'm using the largest trowel that I have and back buttering the tile. You might also be wondering why I'm not putting any mortar onto the wall and just the tile. Well, I don't like putting mortar on the wall unless I absolutely have to. It keeps my work area much clearer. I don't get mortar dropping all over the floor and then stepping in it, and it just makes a big mess. So I just tend to stick to back buttering the tile. Now, back buttering is essentially the same process as troweling the wall. You're either transferring mortar from the tile to the wall or from the wall to the tile. Either way you look at it, it's still putting mortar between 2 surfaces, and if you work it back and forth, or in this case up and down, that mortar is going to work into that backer and that tile will never fall. I've had situations where I had to pull tile off of the wall and the coverage is still there. I'm sure that I'm going to get a whole lot of feedback about this, but I have been doing it this way for years and I haven't had any issues. So for me, I'm just going to apply mortar to both surfaces if I'm working with really big tiles, or if there's a dip in a wall or something like that, or I have to bring that tile out further. Other than that, I'm just back buttering when it comes to wall installation.
To me, can't you see?
For the next wall, I set up my laser to match the existing grout lines and then transferred it onto the wall with a Sharpie. This way, I don't have to keep that laser up the entire time during the installation. And then once I have those transferred over, I can check to make sure that my wall is square.
Okay, so I'm a big believer in testing your pieces before you actually throw the mud on there and stick it to the wall, right? So, especially your starter pieces. It turns out that this wall is a fraction off from being plumb, meaning that it's sitting further back up at the top versus the bottom. Not a big deal, right? Like, you put a level on it, it's gonna say it's level. But when you put a digital level on it, you get a true measurement, right? And this one is reading 89.95 degrees, meaning that if we're tight down on the bottom, once we get all the way up to the ceiling, we got like 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch gap between this wall and this wall. You could totally caulk that, right? You can cover that up. Nobody will know the difference, but I will. So what we're gonna end up doing is that first piece down at the bottom there, we are going to scribe it to our wall. And yes, it's not going to be perfect because it's hammered, but at least that'll close this gap down on that first tile down there, so that once we start putting the second and the third tile, they don't start walking away from this wall. And that's going to make everything else down that way much easier.
Once I get to the shower valve, I need to make some cutouts to slip that tile around it. And I want to make them pretty close to the valve. Typically you can get away with about a 1/2 inch gap around that valve, but because I'm not sure how this hammer tile is going to respond to the seal that's on the back of the trim plate, I want to get as close as I possibly can. That way I can seal it with silicone if I need to as a precaution. And after getting it cut out on the tile saw and finishing it off with the grinder, I can honestly say that is a first time go.
Nice.
Now, I'm not a big fan of tiling shower nooks, and it's not that they're exceptionally hard or they're time consuming, it's just that it's pretty tedious to do, right? So there's a lot of measuring and figuring out offsets, especially if you're running a border around it, that you have to take into consideration, which is why I procrastinated on doing it and worked on the return walls with the Schluter metal transitions for the corner edges. Really simple installation of them. You just have to back butter the wall and press the perforated leg of the trim into the thin set. With nothing else to do in the shower, I do have to buckle down and start this snug. First, I slap down some mortar at the bottom and place my bottom shelf first. Once I had it leveled out and pitched forward, I can install the two side sections using the tile and then jump over to the shop to miter the border pieces. I've been looking for a modern looking border that would look great on this tile for a few weeks now. And I didn't want to just use metal trim because I just don't like the way the miters turn out on them. So then I ended up stumbling on this rectangular PVC trim at my local hardware store. It's super easy to work with and it cuts real easy on the miter saw, and the miters end up turning out great. Once I had all the tile set inside the nook, I can mock up all my trim pieces, and they only come in 12-inch sections, so I ended up stacking them. But once I had everything figured out, I can apply some thin set to that edge, press that trim in, and secure it in place with painter's tape. With the shower all tiled up, I can start working on this floor. And because I wasn't originally planning on doing this transition, I need to cut out the underlayment so that my hardwood floor matches the tile height. So once I had everything laid out and traced exactly how I want it to look, I ended up using my grinder to cut along those lines. And then with an old chisel, I started breaking everything up and chiseling away the construction adhesive before sanding everything smooth so I don't have any issues with installing the flooring.
Okay, so now I'm ready to start actually laying this tile down. This is the flooring that we are trying to bring into this bathroom, and it's a 3/4 inch pre-finished ash flooring. Can't wait. All right, let's mix some mortar and start laying these down.
To make sure I don't drift with the design, I temporarily screwed my 6-foot level to the floor and used it as a guide. Now that first tile on the edge is the most important to get right. I probably set that tile 3 or 4 times before I got the height and level correct. And a hexagon is one of those tiles that requires a lot of patience because you're not only working with 4 sides, but 6 different connection points to the other tiles. But after I got the hang of it, I was able to pick up the pace and was able to finish tiling this bathroom floor in about 6 or 7 hours. Now that the spacers are removed, I can tackle the rise under the curb. And for that corner, to make it look right, I need to miter that connection. So over at the tile saw, I set it to 45 degrees and made 2 cuts with tile that had the continuous pattern. And I know that no one will ever look at this corner and notice the extra care that I put into it, but I personally have a really hard time not thinking about these things, and it becomes a problem sometimes. It took me 3 days to lay out our master shower tile because I couldn't get a continuous pattern all the way across, and it finally took Honey to come in and snap me out of it. So I don't know if that's a good thing to have, or I'm just overthinking things and making them a bigger deal than they have to be. What do you guys think? We ended up finishing all the grout in the shower and the floor over the next 2 days. We washed it multiple times, and now I can seal the curbs and the shelves. Everything in the shower is porcelain, and even the grout has a sealer in it. So the only thing that I have to seal is the stone, and it's a really easy process. You just wipe it on, wait a few minutes for it to penetrate, and wipe the excess with a clean rag. And now we can tackle that floor transition. I think the hardest thing with a floor transition like this is getting started and fitting that first piece perfectly while tying it to the rest of the house. After cutting the plank to fit around the door, I began to mark my cuts to fit around the tile. And at first, I tried using a piece of tile to trace the cuts out, but referencing the exact position was getting tricky. And I messed up a couple of times, so I decided to pull out my angle finder and match up the angles. Then I used just about every tool in the shop, from a miter saw, bandsaw, and even some hand tools to slowly sneak up onto that cut and test fit it multiple times. I probably got about 1,000 steps in just running between the transition and the shop, trying to fit that first piece just right. And it took a lot of time. But then I finally was able to get it just right, and I can glue and nail it into place.
And that, my friends, is it for tonight. It is a 2:15 a.m. Got to be back here at 8 a.m. So we're going to call it a night. The hardest part, we're done. At this point, we will be able to, I'm not going to say breeze through this, but go a lot faster. So this is the hardest part, making sure that we get that first one aligned and set in place. And I'm really happy with the way it turned out. So tomorrow, we're just going to rock and roll. Hopefully the flooring guys don't say anything that, did a bad job, Bart.
With the flooring in place and looking awesome, I can move on to installing a floating vanity. I had a vision for what I wanted it to look like and ended up sketching it out on a piece of paper before giving it to our designer over at Studio 41. After a few different design changes and modifications, we came up with a custom combination of cabinets from their in-house Allure line. We got a standard base cabinet without a toe kick for the center section and 2 smaller drawer cabinets with custom side panels for the sides that I can assemble on site to fit perfectly in a space and make it look like a custom built-in. This is one of the advantages of having an in-house design team and a full-blown cabinet shop that can create just about anything that you come up with without any restrictions. Honey Bunny even came up with the idea of putting in hammered glass into the front doors, which they were able to provide as well.
Heavy.
Next, I can start trimming out the shower with this beautiful French gold. Now, before I saw Kohler's French gold or even knew what it was, I was convinced that I didn't want gold in the shower. I had that old school brassy look in my head, and I just wasn't into it, even though I love vintage. I really wanted something modern for this bathroom that made a big statement, thus the hammered tile, right? But once I saw it in person, I completely changed my mind. Kohler's take on this French gold leans a little bit brighter, giving a cleaner, polished, more refined look while keeping that warm, timeless character. And boy, does it make a statement with this tile.
All right, so this is the Veil toilet by Kohler. It is one of their primo toilets. I mean, it warms your butt. It sanitizes your butt. It self-cleans. It does so many cool things. Originally, this thing was gonna go in our master bathroom, but the only people that actually would see it was me and Honey Bunny. And this thing is way too nice just to save it for me. So it's going into the guest bathroom where everyone can enjoy this thing. All right, this shower is done for now. So I did get a little bit of caulk onto my floor, so we're gonna let that sit overnight. I'm not gonna try to wipe it. I'm not gonna try to clean it, nothing. Tomorrow, once it sets up, we could just take it and peel it up with a razor blade. So looking good. Think you guys deserve some beauty shots, right? For sitting through this video. Let's go.
All right, guys, so this bathroom is pretty much done. It's about 80% at this point. We still have not painted it, put up shelves. We haven't even picked out the permanent countertop. What you're looking at right now is a Formica top I installed just so we can put in a temporary sink and faucet so we can get our occupancy permit to move in. But even with it not being fully finished, this is still my favorite bathroom in the house. And most of all is because of the toilet. I've gotten to the point where if I have to go to the bathroom, this is the bathroom that I am using. The toilet opens up for you as soon as you walk up to it. The seat is nice and warm all the time, and I don't even have to flush anymore. It's completely hands off. And I don't know if that kind of convenience is good or bad because when I do have to use a different bathroom, I get mad at the toilet because the seat doesn't open up for me. And there have been times where I've sat on a closed toilet not even thinking about it. But the world is quickly becoming automated with convenience in mind, and this bathroom is right up there. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments below what your favorite part of it is, and hit that subscribe and bell notification so you get a heads up when we release the next video. Thank you so much for joining me on this experience. I will see you guys next time. I'm not skimming the... Continuous beeping. Continuous phone calls. That's it. I've had it with this fly. Oh, it seems the last day for now. Oh man, oh, that's not good. Look what I did. Oh no. I'm gonna have to spackle that. Hey!
Is it on?
Yeah, it's on. Yeah, it's on.
Okay.
All right, so you are going.